Hello, everybody. What is up, Ali G Show fam? I am your host, Ali G, and welcome back to the first official track of 2026. I am so excited to be back with all of you. So excited that this is a solo episode. I could not wait to record this one for you guys. I put out an AMA a few weeks ago on my Instagram because a lot of people have been asking me questions about running and gear and what I've been doing outside of running. And yeah, I got so many good questions. So I'm super excited to get through all of those with you guys today. But if you're a longtime listener, thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for coming back. If you're new here, welcome. This pod, as I always say, lives at the intersection of movement and mindset and music and all the highs and the lows and the long runs and the race days and the things that carry us forward when things get a little difficult. So whether you're listening mid-run or walk or post-run or in the car, or you just need something in your ears right now, like I always do because I'm constantly needing music or podcasts or something, I firmly believe you're exactly where you're supposed to be. So welcome. As longtime listeners know, I took some intentional time off over the holidays and into the new year to reset and recharge and just get really honest with myself about what I want this next. I don't really do seasons on the pod, but what I want this next era of the Ali G show to look like. So no more burnout, all fresh ideas. And now I'm back and I'm really excited about it. And there's a lot happening. So lace up, turn up the volume, and let's get into it. Okay, I thought it would be great for a little life and pod update. So let's start with the big stuff. New tracks of the Ali G show are officially dropping tomorrow because I'm recording this on or I'm releasing this on Wednesday. New episodes are dropping tomorrow, Thursday, February 5th. I am so excited. I'm not even going to say who the guest is that's going to start the year off, but somebody who I am friends with, who I admire as a runner, and I just can't wait for you all to hear this person. Um, yeah, outside of that, I've got great new guest conversations already recorded and more intentional solo episodes coming your way. And everybody has been asking me about stickers and merch. And I am happy to say if everybody who I mailed stickers to this far has not gotten their stickers yet, those are on their way. And if you would like some stickers, please reach out. But I'm also excited to share that Ali G Show merch is coming very, very soon, thanks to my friends at Backline. So, again, before we get into this episode, I really want to take a second to shout out Backline for sponsoring and supporting the Ali G Show. If you have been running with me, literally like in person or digitally, either on the tread or in a class, I don't really hype products up that I don't actually use, and I'm very loyal. um, and Backline has genuinely been getting me through these frigid winter runs. So shout out to them. They are going to be the ones who are making my Ali G show merch because they're the best. Matt and Molly are my coaches, and they have gotten me through so much of this training block already for Boston. Yeah, and I love them so much. So shout out to Backline. I have been living in their tights and their layers. The fabric is so warm without feeling super bulky because I hate when things like bounce up and down when I'm running. And, I hate when things aren't lightweight. So their gear has been really getting me through the days, and they're going to make Ali G show gear. And I am so excited for it. So updates to come on that front. And yeah, I'm just super grateful for their support and their support of the show and of me, and for keeping me, comfortable while I'm stacking those winter miles and getting in the 60-mile a week range because it's not easy when it's this cold. So yeah, shout out to Backline. All right. So let's talk running. Right now, I am currently signed up for, which by the way, I'll get to, some of these might be repetitive from the AMA, but I wanted to do a little bit of just a little bit of a training check-in. And yeah, everybody always asks me what I'm signed up for. So here we are. Right now, I am signed up for the United Airlines half in March, which I'm really excited about this year because the first time I ran it, I smashed my half PR. The second time I ran it, it was still over the Manhattan Bridge, and I just had the flu like 3 days before. I just finished the flu like 3 days before the race. So I was feeling not that great during the last time I ran the United Airlines half. And then this year, I'm excited because if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that running over the Brooklyn Bridge is something that I used to do in college when my professors didn't show up to class, or if I had a break in between class, and I would go and get pizza and ice cream, and then I would run back. So I'm really excited to run the United Airlines half this year. And yeah, it's not going to be a PR because I am using it as a training run for Boston, but we'll get there. After that, I I signed up. I signed up for the lottery of the Cherry Blossom 5K and the 10 miler, which they call the Double Blossom. And I did what everybody does, and they're like, I'm never going to get in, and I'm just going to sign up and we'll see. And then I got that little charge on my credit card, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing the 5K and the 10 miler. And those, again, sad to report, I might be able to do a little speedy 5K, but the 10 miler is going to be my last long run before the Boston Marathon because it's a week before. And then I have the Boston Marathon, which I'm going to be honest with you all. We'll talk a little bit about goals later again, but I don't know what my goals are. I think I'm aiming for a 310. So if everybody knows about the manifestation power of this podcast, please start manifesting for me. I'm training for a 310. So I'm really hoping that I can kind of lock in and get that done because we all know I have beef with the Boston Marathon and I would love to go in healthy and not injured. So that's my goal for that and for this year. And then I actually signed up for the $1 Ultra, which is something in New York. And I think it's new, relatively new, maybe in the last 1 or 2 years. And yeah, it was another one where I filled out a Google form and they had asked like silly questions where they were like, oh, what are you running from? And I was like, well, everything. I'm obviously running from everything. And yeah, I got into that. And I believe that you put a lap in the jar after every lap of the ultra course that you do. So stay tuned for that. I can't wait to talk about it. That is in June. So it's actually 2 days before my birthday. So if you know what I'm running from, that's what I'm running from because I'm turning 30. So that's the real answer. But that'll be really fun. I have a bunch of friends running it. Shout out to Tim, who convinced me to sign up. He's a friend of the pod, a friend of mine, and we're going to run some laps together. And I'm sure I'm going to convince others to run some laps with us. So stay tuned again for that. That'll be really, really fun to talk about. I'm sure I'll have a lot of stories and I might be podcasting live. So we'll see. As for the fall, I think I have my eye on Marine Corps again. And there's a race called the Battleship Half in Wilmington, North Carolina that I had such bad FOMO about this year because I was in Wilmington, North Carolina while it was happening and I was on the wait list because I didn't sign up on time and I didn't get in obviously. So I really want to do that one. But they also have like a 5K, a 10K, and the half. So I think I want to go for the half, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be in like race a 5K shape. So I will be doing that. And I think my ultra plan for the fall is Tussey Mountain Back, which I believe is in Pennsylvania. That came as a recommendation from my coach, Molly. So you might see me there. And if anyone wants to join our fun little pit crew, raise your hand up because I would love it. It's going to be really fun. No, but in all seriousness, I think this training block is not, I'm trying to take the pressure off myself and understand that not everything is going to be perfect and just try to be consistent, which I've been really keeping up with. So I'm really super proud of that. And yeah, I want to listen to my body. Like I said before, I don't want to get hurt before Boston. I don't want to be sick before Boston. Both of those things have happened 2 years in a row. So manifest staying healthy, uninjured, all the things. And yeah, I think in general, just letting running fit into my life versus forcing everything else to revolve around it, I think is another major goal. Like training for the ultra was really hard and really time consuming. And I felt like I was just running around like a chicken with no head to figure out where I could run for 4 hours without having to think about where to run and the course and where I was going to go. A lot of that was done at the beach, which that is not a complaint. None of that is a complaint, but that's all just to say, I think, I've really found freedom in running by like personalizing my training and figuring out that it's okay to switch your long run to a Friday. As you guys know, I've been doing my long runs on Fridays if you follow me on Instagram. And I really love it because I go into the weekend kind of with like a clear mind and it's done good work day on Friday after a long run. I don't know, it just energizes me in a different way. So those are some little goals. So again, I'll explain more during the AMA, but yeah, I mean, like I always like to do on my solo episodes, music is a huge part of my long runs. And since I've been long running, actually, I only did one long run inside this whole training cycle, and it was because it was like 3 degrees in New Jersey. But the way that I've been getting through them is actually podcasts, which is new for me. I don't really listen to podcasts when I'm running, but I just started. And I'm also listening to Kira D'Amato's audiobook while I'm doing my long runs. And it really makes the time go by so much quicker, and it's very inspirational. So I suggest everyone give it a try, because if you've been listening to me for a long time, you know that I'm stubborn and I don't like change. And that was one change that I decided to bring into the mix for this training cycle. But outside of podcasts and audiobooks, everybody knows I'm always listening to music. And since I spend a lot of time running, I listen to a lot of music, and my Spotify minutes is always, or it's always at like the highest it can be, in like 0.0001% of fans, or whatever that ridiculous percentage is. But wanted to do a quick music check-in because, as always, I am expanding my music taste and it's all over the place always. But some artists I've been listening to lately that really stick out: Lizzie McAlpine. I'll get into the albums, but just amazing. She's amazing. I just love playing Lizzie and like working and getting my job done. It's so fun. The time goes by so fast. Noah Khan, always listening to Noah Khan. I can't wait for his new album to come out. I think it comes out before the summer. But he just announced his summer tour, so I'm super excited. I'm definitely going to be hitting up some tour dates for him. Hilary Duff, I'm back in my Hilary Duff era. Oh my God, she's such a queen. It just brings me back to middle school. Camp, another great band. Mountjoy, I'm always listening to Mountjoy. I don't give them enough love, but I love Mountjoy. Joe, which is Joe Keery's band, DJO. Great artists there. Alex Warren, as always, and Ray. I feel like I've been back into the Ray album for a few weeks now. Literally can't stop playing it, even though I know that it was released a few years ago. But so many more artists to mention all the time. But those are the highlights right now, I feel like, for this week. I'm also kind of back in my Justin Bieber era after his Grammy performance and after Swag, and the Swag other part came out. But these are the artists that have been on repeat. And oh yeah, and one other one, Harry Styles' new track is kind of fun. I wish he sang more. It might be a hot take, but the music is a vibe. Hopefully I can get some tickets to Harry Styles, because I really would love to see him this summer, or this fall and October. I think he's September, October. 30 nights at the Garden. Gotta be one ticket left. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I just saw, back to Hilary Duff for a second. I just saw Hilary Duff at Brooklyn Paramount, and it was, I always say everything's life changing because I'm dramatic like that, but it was life changing to hear What Dreams Are Made Of live. I really can't explain it, but it brought me back to, this is so niche and so specific, but it really brought me back to middle school Italian class watching the Lizzie McGuire movie when she goes to Italy. So that was really, really fun. And I got to go with my best friend Sid, and it was her birthday, and we just had the best time ever. And we met awesome people, and my coworkers are just brilliant that work there, and they make the experience so unique for everybody. And it was just one of the best nights ever. And if you haven't checked out Brooklyn Paramount, this is not an ad, by the way. I just love Brooklyn Paramount, and the whole team there is just amazing. They always are. They always have been. And actually, something really cool to note there, if you haven't been to Brooklyn Paramount and you're from the New York area, it actually used to be a part of Long Island University. And the Brooklyn Paramount venue now used to be their old gymnasium. So when they were first building Brooklyn Paramount and we were going to have premium seats there, I went in to tour, and I had to wear a hard hat and like one of those construction vests. It was so funny. I was like sending pictures to everybody. But the basketball floor was still on the general admission floor of what now is the concert venue. So super cool experience, of course, very unique experience, but all to say, Brooklyn Paramount is so cool and you have to go, and it has so much history and, just wild. Outside of seeing Hilary Duff, I have so many concerts coming up. Can't wait to see Alex Warren So many other great artists touring this summer. More on that later on the pod as concert season starts. And as you know, I love to talk about it. So as I see shows this summer and the fall, apparently, because concert season outdoors now goes to the fall. I love it so much. It never ends. Yeah, I'll be talking a lot more about it. But specifically, from those artists, I wanted to shout out some of the albums that I've been listening to that kind of got me hooked on them recently. Lizzie McAlpine, her album is Older and Wiser. Alex Warren, his album is You'll Be All Right, Kid. Joe, the Crux album. I don't even know how I'm pronouncing it, but I'm obsessed with Joe Keery, just like everybody else from Stranger Things. But I'm also obsessed with this album and the band. They're so cool, so unique, so cool. Great sound. And Mountjoy, Hope We Have Fun. So these are all recent albums. And as you know, and if you don't know, maybe you're new here, I am a full album listener. So the first time I listen to an artist, I love listening to their latest album or one of their old albums straight through because I think that's how a lot of albums are written by these artists. And I feel like you just get, encapsulated. I think that's the right word. And like stuck in it, in this like space, in this bubble with an album. And I really like that. So what else? I'm trying to think. Oh, Nick Jonas's Sunday Best comes out on Thursday. I can't wait for that. And Charlie XCX's new album comes out in a few weeks too. So we have a lot of good music this year, a lot of good concerts, a lot of up and coming artists. Olivia Dean, she's another one. I mean, I've been listening to Olivia Dean for a while, but she's another one I can't wait to see this summer. Just so good, so good. And I'm just always in awe of amazing talents that have either been around for a while and are now just having their moment, or are new and are having a moment, or they never got a chance to have a moment and they're having one now. Yeah, I just think there's so much beauty in that and so much beauty in music. So those are the songs and the albums that are keeping me going right now. And yeah, should we fast forward to a little AMA that's like fun and unhinged? Because I love when I put out an AMA and I get some really unhinged questions, which is the first one isn't so unhinged, but it's unique. And I know exactly who submitted it. So shout out to Joe B, because he probably thinks I'm not going to say his name on the pod, and I am. He's my former boss, and I knew he would ask this question. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding about him being my former boss, but he always asks silly questions. Like, if I take a subway at the start of the marathon to get to the finish line and pretend like I ran the whole marathon. So yeah, shout out to Joe. He keeps me on my toes. But Joe asked, would you rather a duck-sized horse or a horse-sized duck? I said duck-sized horse because, like, how cutie would a little duck-sized horse be? That'd be so cute. They're like so mini and like a mini little puppy horse dog thing. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. Somebody asked 3 albums you can take on an island for the rest of your life. You know what's funny? This is one that I constantly think about, and the third one always changes, but the first 2 always stay consistent. And my first 2 and my non-negotiables are always Carole King's Tapestry and Kacey Musgrave's Golden Hour. The third one right now currently is Brat by Charlie XCX, because I feel like that gives me a balance of like chilling out with Carole King, then I'm chilling out with Kacey Musgraves, but it's a little more poppy. And then I have Brat, which is completely unhinged. And if I'm like going crazy on an island by myself and I need to like let out energy or feel like just like unhinged, it's Charlie XCX's Brat. And I just think it's honestly, aside from that, it's perfect and it's fun. And I just love that she's the queen of everything right now, and Brat Summer and all the things in between. Somebody asked best Beatles song. Oh, this is so funny. Every time I get asked this, I start to think my opinion is really unpopular. As we all know, my favorite album is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I will die on this hill. I think it's one of the best of all time. But my favorite song is actually not on that album. I think there are multiple variations of it on pretty much every album except for Sgt. Pepper's. No, but I think it's actually on the Beatles. It's Revolution. I feel like that's just one that, I don't know, just gets me. It's just my favorite. There's no explanation. And I think that's how I know it's my favorite. I just love it. Oh my God, I loved this question. If Jills had honest names, what would your go-to flavor be called? I thought about this one a lot because I like fruity gels, like Tutti Frutti is my favorite one from Sis. And outside of that, I really just have the Martin and the Precision gels, which have relatively no flavor and they just taste like a little sweet jello thing. Um, but I think if I had to come up with a name, mine would be called this is so ridiculous. Gas station coffee at mile 20. And I thought about this because you know that coffee that sometimes really sucks, but it's also what you really needed in that moment. And it's, you know, it's about the caffeine and it's not really about the flavor. That's what my gel would be. Yeah, I don't even think I need to explain that one further. That's just me. That's just what I want all the time. Actually, side note about this, when I was running the ultra, I don't remember what lap I was on. I had to be at like, it was toward the end, maybe like lap 15 or 16. And my Matt, one of my coaches, was running with me and he was like, "What do you need?" I was like, "I don't know, but I need something." I'm like, "I just need something." And I was realizing that it was like 3, 4 o'clock, which is my midday slump, as I like to say all the time. And it's always when I like need my second cup of coffee, because obviously I drink way too much coffee and we all know I'm addicted. So like we don't have to talk about it. Um, but he was like, "What do you need?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then when I got back for the other loop, he was talking to my other coach, Molly, and he was like, I guess telling her that I could use a coffee. And I had this, it must have been instant coffee because I don't know where else they would have gotten coffee. I never asked them, but I should. But anyway, that reminded me of the gel and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, what food do you daydream about mid run? Oh, so easy. Ice cream. Duh. All the time. I'm dreaming about ice cream because I never have it when I should because whatever. Um, oh, and I also daydream about seltzer, like a crispy, freezing cold seltzer that's extra bubbly and iced coffee because why not? What is the weirdest thought you've had mid run that still lives rent free? You know what I always think about? And I don't feel like this is actually going to be an unpopular opinion. I feel like this would be like, I feel like a lot of people would share this. So you're going to have to let me know. I always think about what would happen if I fell. Like, like if I fell at the pace I was running at, what would happen? Would somebody step all over me? Would I get back up? Obviously I would be upset. Total intrusive thought, but, and kind of weird. But yeah, it lives rent free in my head every time I'm out running. All right, moving on. What was your first thought during your first race? Oh wow, that takes me back. My first ever real race that I trained for was the Brooklyn Half, not the NYRR one, the NYC Runs one. It was a few years ago, I think 2022, 2023 maybe. No, it was 2022. I was definitely thinking that I was so aware of my breathing, and then I dropped my inhaler and everything went to shit because I was freaking out the entire time about not being able to breathe. And little did I know you could actually like do things to control your asthma when you're severely asthmatic. But I think it stuck out to me so much, and I think it was my first thought because security almost did not let me in with my inhaler, and I kind of had to like barter with them, which is ridiculous. Anyway, this was a few years ago, so you know we don't have to call anybody out. Moving on. Have you ever DNF'd mentally but finished a race physically? Yeah. Yeah. Literally all the time. Um, I think I hit a point where like my body doesn't hit a wall, but my mind hits a wall. And I think I don't know again if that's an unpopular opinion, but I know that experiencing like hitting the wall is primarily physical, like your legs feel like they're going to give out and X, Y, and Z, whatever. I do feel like I typically hit a wall mentally at like mile 22, 23. Um, and then for some reason, I'm just able to like kind of pick it up and turn it around. But one that I specifically DNF'd mentally but finished physically was Wine Glass. Like it was so hot that day last year. I had just come off, you know, if you listen to the pod again, like I fell on the West Side Highway, sprained my ankle, and it was really bad, really, really bad. And I took like a lot of rest. So I didn't really have a full training cycle in. It was originally going to be my race, or was going to be my goal race of the fall. And then I got into Marine Corps, and everything else was like whatever. So I kind of like DNF'd mentally before the race even started, because we were talking about maybe like the possibility of having to DNF, because I was coming off such an injury that my coaches were like, listen, like there's no shame in the DNF game. Um, but yeah, I really was very honest about my pain that I was having during the race, and it wasn't bad enough for me to DNF. And it was more so just like being aware of it and slowing down, because by the time it was like teetering on like pretty bad, it was like mile 24. And first of all, there's also nowhere to DNF in Wineglass physically. Like you are literally in the middle of nowhere. So I was like, just keep going. Just keep going. All right, next question. Mile 22 of a marathon, what lie do you tell yourself to keep going? Oh my God, this is so easy. I do this all the time, not even just in a marathon, but like every single run or long run. But specifically to answer this question, at mile 22 of a marathon, I lie to myself by being like, oh, well, it's not a lie that there are only 4 miles left, but I'll be like, oh, there are 4 miles left, which is two miles, which is only really like 14 minutes, which isn't that bad. And then I'll just go down this rabbit hole of like convincing myself that 4 miles isn't significant when you've already run 22. And so, I mean, it's not that significant, but if you're really hitting a wall or you really feel like shit, 4 miles could feel like forever. So, yeah, I always like break it down. I guess that's more of breaking it down than lying to myself. But what's your quote? This run is going terribly, but I'm pretending it's fine coping mechanism. Oh, when this is happening, I very much use specific landmarks to get to. And I always like bargain with myself. I'll be like, oh, I know it's going terribly, or I know this is going to be horrible because I didn't sleep last night, or I didn't eat well, or, whatever other reason your run might not go well. I'm always just telling myself to go for like X amount of miles, and eventually I'll do whatever was programmed. So I'll be like, oh, if it's 13 miles and I really don't feel like running 13 miles, I'll be like, oh, just make it to 5. And then at 5, I'm like, oh, make it to 10. And then at 10, I'm like, okay, well, there are 3 miles left. That's stupid. Like, you have to keep going. Like, and this is all to say, like, unless I obviously have an injury or I'm sick, I will stop. But that's one of my coping mechanisms. I feel like I also call people when I'm running, and like I actually call Eric a lot when I'm running, who produces this podcast, because I feel like talking about what is to come and like new projects that are exciting, like kind of get me going. So, yeah. And the time always goes by when you call people back or you have time to catch up. I do it in the car too. Like if I'm on a long drive or something, or a long trip, I always call to do my like catch up on my correspondence in the car. Ooh, great question. Up next, marathon playlist must-haves and songs that you have added and immediately regretted. Ooh, these have been changing a lot recently, actually, but many of these have stayed consistent. But if, again, I keep saying this, but if you've been listening to the pod, my 3 must-haves are "As It Was" by Harry Styles, "Wrapped Around Your Finger" by Post Malone, and "Skater Boy" by Avril Lavigne. That's my song that I know that if it's playing, like when I'm approaching the finish line, that I may or may not make my goal. And then I always have a little buffer after, because if I'm not going to meet my goal and that song is playing, it still makes me want to run through a wall, but I still have time to like listen to music and keep going or make it to the finish line. Some new additions recently, though. I've been toying around with the idea of like starting my playlist a little slower so that I don't go out too fast. And "Strangers" by the Jonas Brothers, "Twilight Zone" by Ariana Grande, "Easy" by Casey Musgraves and Troye Sivan, "Bad Habits" by Ed Sheeran. This one's so funny. "Seven Things" by Miley Cyrus. Don't knock it until you put it on your playlist and you run to it, okay? Please. "Sugar" by Maroon 5 and "Dirty Little Secret" by All American Rejects. Those are my absolute must-haves. There is one song. I have to fact check myself here, so bear with me. I want to say I can't think of it right now. I should have looked this up, but I did put it on my. Oh, also these words. I think it's a remix with Badger and Natasha Bedingfield. Great song. Um, Cake by the Ocean, DNCE, Raise Your Glass, Pink. These are all my non-negotiables. I'll have to circle back on the regret because there's definitely one I'm thinking of, but I'm gonna butcher what it is. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to waste time on this. It's a remix and it just replays over and over again. And the only problem with it is that it's like fun for 2 minutes and then it's like not fun. Like it immediately gets like not fun to listen to. Because it repeats for like 25 minutes and you're like, all right, get me out of here. Anyway, those are really my only regrets because I typically try to curate the playlist to the vibe and the pace. I'm not perfect at it, but it's something that I'm really trying to be perfect at. Okay, moving on. Great question. Favorite cold weather running gear? I know I mentioned them earlier, but you all know I love Backline. Again, like I wouldn't be promoting anything I didn't love. I've been I have tried so many different pairs of running gloves. Two that I specifically love. Backlines, brand new running gloves, the version 2, literally so good. I am always freezing cold and the first thing I lose feeling in is my fingers and my feet and my toes. But these gloves are literal perfection. And the other gloves that I also like to swap out sometimes, New Balance made a New York City marathon glove with like all the burrows, like one burrow on each finger on each side. And it's funny because at the start line, I was complaining that I was cold and I had like these shitty Amazon gloves on. And one of their models was standing next to me and he was like, "Oh, I'll trade you. Like, I'd rather have those." I was like, "Okay." So I stole those from him. and those gloves are also great. Um, Secondly, I love the Backline Storm King fleece. It's so warm, but not overwhelmingly warm. I can't really explain it, but I love it so much. And bonus points because it looks really cute as athleisure too, like with tights or something and leggings. I just love it. Um, in addition to those things, I have this on ear warmer that I really like. Like it's like a band, the one that covers your ears. I've never been into them, but Sid got me one for Christmas because I used one of hers when I was long running in the snowy sleet hail in DC one weekend, and I've been loving the on ear warmer because it fits right over my shocks, right over my ears. It's perfect, and they also don't. Then my shocks don't bounce. It's like the best of both worlds. Um, and I guess like a funny little side note here, I've never been comfortable running in a hoodie or sweatshirt, but I always see people doing it and I really wanted to try. And I've discovered recently that I love running in just a crew neck, like a sports bra and a crew neck. Like I feel like I don't overheat. Um yeah, I don't know. It's just a new thing I'm trying out. And of course, my Bolt socks, which leads me to my next question. Somebody asked, "What piece of gear do you irrationally love and will defend forever?" That's my Bolt socks, and I will die on this hill. They're the best socks by Backline, ever, ever, ever. I love them so much. Super simple, so cute, so comfy. I race in them, and yeah, I will love and defend the Bolt socks forever. So if you don't have some, go get some. How many shoes do you have in rotation during a marathon block? Great question. I have two or three that I rotate. I usually have one pair for outside, which I use for like long runs and just my Saturday, Sunday runs, one pair for inside on the tread, and one that I really wear just for speed workouts. So it really just depends on what I'm doing that day, how I'm feeling. But two specific brands and models that I would love to shout out: Adidas Evo SL, which I originally hated on so much, but after breaking them in for a long time, they've become one of my favorite shoes. They're literally so light, they're so breathable, and they're just so comfortable. And as you all know, I'm still on the New Balance 1080 V. I will die on the V13 train, but I love the V14s. Those are great too. And I would love to try the V15s. And then Asics Nova Blast, always, always. I still need to try the Super Blast. Everybody tells me to try the Super Blast, but if you have other shoe recs, I would love to try them. I am in the market for a new carbon plated shoe and a new long run shoe. So if anybody has any recs, let me know. Okay, worst fueling mistake you've made and what you learned. Oh my God. I don't want to throw anybody or any brands under the bus, but using goo gels, I, ugh. I remember my last goo gel. And to be honest, I don't think it's throwing them under the bus because I wasn't drinking water with them. So I was just taking them and like not hydrating. So you can't do that. That was the lesson I learned. That's when I learned that there are some gels that you don't technically need water with, but you still really do, and then other gels that you really need water with, or they'll give you the worst cramps you've ever had in your entire life. But I still remember the race. It was the Philly Love Run half marathon. A week after I PR'd the United half, I did the Philly Love Run because my cousin Caitlin and my sister Kate were running it, and yeah, I will never have another goo again. It was the chocolate one too, so yeah. This was such a good question, and I mean I know who asked it, so I'm gonna shout her out. It was Kelly. She's been on the pod, a friend of the pod, a new friend of mine. She's the sweetest. What are your goals this year, personally, professionally, athletically? I loved I loved this question so much. It really got me thinking, but personally, I want to focus on sleep and drinking tons and tons of water because I'm currently drinking tons and tons of coffee, as we all know, and definitely not enough water for the amount of sweat that I let out. Um, yeah, I don't know. I really want to focus on that. I want to focus on a work life balance, a travel life balance, a life balance in general. I think that's always really important. And yeah, professionally, I, of course, always want to be involved in new projects at my full-time job. I always want to excel in that. I've done a really good job, I think, getting myself involved in more things. Not that I need more things to be involved in, but I recently became a mentor for two people at work, which has been really nice. And I really want to keep doing that because it's really fun to meet new people and talk to new people. As you know, that's why I literally have a podcast. Athletically, as we all know, and as I've been manifesting for years, I am really working toward that sub 3 marathon. I think it's going to be a 2-year goal for me. I know I can do it. It's just about when and finding the right time to train and finding the right balance of training. Um, yeah, I really want to do, but this year I would love to run a 3:10. That would be a PR for me. I think this is the year of a marathon PR and my second ultra, I think. And yeah, I think I just want to get stronger. Like in general, I want to be overall stronger. I want to do some trail runs. I want to try different things. Last year was the year of trying a new thing with the ultra, and this year I want to keep doing that. So anything new I can do is always fun to me. Places you've never run but would love to and why? Well, one of my best friends travels to Hawaii for work all the time. And he's always texting me, like, Al, you have to do this run. You have to do this marathon. You have to do this race. So, Hawaii for sure. I always dream of like running through Paris to see the city. And in Italy, there's actually this Ferrari race that I can't do this year, but I definitely want to do one year. So, add Paris and Italy to the list. Bucket list marathon, I think, would be Athens, as I've said, I think, and Copenhagen. Also, I would literally run anywhere on the West Coast. My actual goal for the West Coast is to do one of those crazy mountain ultras. Um, and I would also love to do the speed project. So if anybody has any ins on that, please let me know. That is 100% on my bucket list. I would love to do or participate in the speed project. I think that's such a cool experience. All right. We are almost done, I promise, with the AMAs, but I'm loving this. Favorite part of interviewing somebody? Ooh, great question. My favorite part of interviewing someone is learning new things about them on the spot. I always say that I can talk to a brick wall, but I think this might be an unpopular podcaster opinion. I don't love to do so much research on a person before I interview them. I think the beauty in having a script centered around like one main topic, like, oh, you're running Boston, but like, how did you get there? What are you feeling about it? You know, X, Y, and Z, all the things. You guys have listened to the pod before. But I think the beauty of not doing too much research, obviously, I know about my guests and I can speak to them. But I think the beauty of not doing too much research is getting my genuine reaction on the spot. Like, I can't fake it. Like, you're going to get what I'm thinking right on the spot. And I also think it just brings more flow to the conversation because I never want to be robotic, right? I always, anytime I have a guest on, I'm always like, I want this to be as conversational as possible. If you have anything you want to brag about, add it to the show notes. But yeah, my absolute favorite thing is, aside from meeting a new person or maybe just having a conversation with a friend that I don't get to talk to all the time, my favorite thing is learning new things on the spot and learning from other people. I mean, everybody listens to this podcast for a reason. I listen to other podcasts for a reason. Like, I love hearing about different opinions and different things people are doing because that's just how we make each other better and we support each other. So, yeah, and everybody gets my genuine reaction. So, I think that's my favorite part, is just learning about new people on the spot. Why do you think people keep coming back to marathons even when they swear never again? I really think people keep coming back to them because it gives them something to look forward to and work toward. Like, no matter what the distance is, it could be any race. Like, I know routines and running schedules and coaches aren't for everyone, but I do find that people who feed off that type of routine and consistency are the ones that are like, I'm going to keep coming back. Because you can always find something you really love about running or racing or walking or any sort of physical activity. If you stopped racing tomorrow, what would you miss most? Easy. The people I meet, the places I see, the celebrations with friends and family afterward. Those are just the things I always look forward to. I always look forward to the celebration. We all know this. Gear, fuel, and things I'm loving right now. Shoes, like I said, Adidas Evo SL, New Balance 1080, Asics Nova Blast. I recently just started using the untapped maple syrup gels, which seemed really gross at first, but they are so good. And the caffeine ones, admittedly, like, make me feel like I have hot pepper up my ass because I never take calf gels. And I took one for the first time like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, whoa, I can run through a wall right now, and I'm running really fast and I'm going off pace. But in all seriousness, they taste really good. The mocha one, or the coffee, I don't know what it's labeled, but the coffee one is my favorite, and the raspberry one is my favorite. Aside from that, Precision Fuel and Hydration, their gels, so good. Tastes similar to Martin, but a little bit different consistency. It's more like liquidy than jello-y, in my opinion. Could be just me, I don't know. And they also have a salt pill situation that I've been loving a lot because I know I'm a salty sweater. So those have really been a game changer for me during my long runs in this cycle. And yeah. And in addition to that, the Magna Blood Orange and the Magna Lemonade Iced Tea, magnesium drink and hydration drink, so good. So good. Yeah, I feel like I say it all the time, but running, when you find your groove and when you find your gear and your people, and you're not like fighting for your life and your gear the entire time, that's like my favorite part of this whole training cycle. Okay, as we wrap things up here, I have been asking, as you'll hear tomorrow on the new track, I've been asking every guest to give me a hot take. And I always say there's no right or wrong answer, just something you feel really strongly about. And I figured it would be fun if I gave you my hot take, and then I'm going to compile them at the end of like each month and do a fun little recap. But my running hot take is that GPS watches are there to just make you feel guilty. And I don't want to say just there to make you feel guilty, but they do make you feel guilty. And I think everybody just gets so wrapped up in what their watch says, me included. I have absolutely been there. No shame in telling you that game. But yeah, like, my marathon predicted time is changing all the time. And sometimes it goes like way faster. Sometimes it goes like way slower. And I wear my watch almost 24/7 so that it gets the most accurate reading. But yeah, the other day, what made me think of this one was that the other day I ran 20 miles outside, and then no joke, I sat for like 2 meetings because I got my run done before work, and I sat down for 2 meetings. It was like 45 minutes total, and both my Oura ring and my Coros were like, time to stretch your legs for a bit. And I was like, oh, I'm suddenly really, really angry. But anyway, aside from all that, you don't have to agree with the hot take. That's the whole point of this segment. I thought it would be fun for 2026. So if anybody has running hot takes, I would love to hear them on the pod and in the DMs, and we can always come together and share them on the pod. And also, in addition to that, I am creating an LAG show playlist, and the song that I would like to add today is these words, the remix with Badger and Natasha Bedingfield, like I said earlier. It's just a fun hype song. I love it so much. But yeah, anyway, I would love to hear from everybody. Give me your hot takes. Give me your songs for the playlist. Give me the songs you're listening to right now, your favorite shoes, your favorite gear. I love doing AMAs and answering questions. I think it's so fun because some of the stuff I get is so funny, and it like really makes me think, because when we're all like wrapped up in training and running 24/7, it's hard to take a beat and just sit back and think about it for a minute. So with that, that is a wrap on today's track. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for giving me this space to grow with the pod. Thank you for welcoming me back into the pod space. If today's track resonated with you, take that energy with you into your next run or walk and whatever movement looks like for you this week. But yeah, as I always say, if you love this track, don't forget to subscribe to it, rate it, share the pod. It truly helps me grow, and I really, really appreciate it. And you can find me on Instagram at @the_Ali G Show. New episodes every Thursday starting tomorrow. Merch coming soon. Don't forget. Keep moving with purpose, guys. You're never running alone, and I will catch you on the next track of the Ali G Show. Bye.